What's going on, guys? It's Unknown Player here, and in this video we'll be talking about all the buffs and nerfs and changes coming to Destiny in the April update. Bungie went ahead and announced a bunch of new ways in which the Crucible and the general sandbox will be changed, so that includes making things better or worse, like weapons, specific exotics, and even subclasses as well. So we're going to go over all of those in this video so you know what's going to be changing on April 12th when the April update launches. So the first thing they've changed is how reviving works. So of course that's very pivotal in Trials of Osiris and Skirmish, so it's going to take a little bit longer to actually revive people. You also need to be a lot closer to the orb to revive people in the first place. The shield that you get when you do get revived is going to be a little bit weaker, and it also takes an extra 2 seconds to revive everyone all the time. So normally once you go down, it will take 5 seconds to revive. Now it's going to take 7, and I really agree with that change. I think a lot of people could abuse it very easily, where you just like revive someone and it becomes one person against 2 people who have overshields, which is kind of a disadvantage. So I definitely like this change, and it isn't as easy or rewarding to revive people anymore. Now into these special ammo changes, they've actually gone back a little bit on what they initially did, and now you're always going to spawn initially at the very start of a game with special ammo, and special will now spawn a lot later. So it's going to spawn after the first 3 minutes into a match, and then every 2 minutes after that. So it's a little bit delayed, and special ammo will be a lot more scarce, but you have special ammo to start with. So if you want to save it for later, or if you want to use it at the start, that's up to you. Now finally into heavy, that's only going to spawn once per match now, and that's 5 minutes into the game. So that's a pretty interesting change. Now into some of the loot drop rewards in Crucible, we've got trials, and now armor and weapons will spawn in the treasure chest, so not just weapons. And the bounties you'll get will drop up to 335, and also the trials bounty, His Eye Upon You, that's the gold tier one, and that's now going to refresh every single day, and you can pick up one of those every day while trials is active and do it every day, not just once a week. That's pretty crazy. You can actually farm that and get gold tier rewards every single day. And of course the requirement for that bounty is to get 75 kills as a fire team, I believe, and also complete 10 matches. So that gold tier one you can do every single day. In Iron Banner, once you get your post-game rewards, if you were to get an engram, you'd now get instead a legendary piece of Iron Banner gear. So it's basically like swapping it out for a more Iron Banner experience. You'll now be able to get 320 artifacts and ghosts from your rank 3 and 5 packages, and also those rank 5 packages will drop up to 335 loot. Now into the weapon changes, this is where it gets interesting. So the high rate of fire auto rifles have had their damage reduced. That's going to be like Doctrine of Passing. That's going to be slightly nerfed. And then the low rate of fire, they're getting nerfs. That means like the Suros and the really slow firing ones, they're going to get their damage slightly increased. Within pulse rifles, the low rate of fire ones have also got a slight buff. So that includes things like the Spare Change and the Red Death, and they can actually now 2 burst to the head if you're very accurate and you land all of your bullets, which is quite difficult to do. But if you can do it, you will get a 2 burst headshot. Into the hand cannons, they've got a buff in their reserve ammo, which I think is really disappointing. I would love to see hand cannons be a lot more viable, and they really just aren't great. I think they need a buff in their target acquisition and their aim assist, to be honest, to make them a lot more accurate at range. But all we're getting now is an increase in their reserve ammo, not magazine ammo, just how much ammo you can carry. So fusion rifles have actually been buffed a little bit. They're getting a tighter spread and better stability. The snipers are pretty interesting. They wanted to make them a lot less close range, a lot less scout rifle-y, and just like a quick scoping weapon, which I definitely agree with. And they've increased the zoom on the lowest zoom scopes. They now look a lot further, and it's going to be harder to use them at close range gunfights. Can you be zoomed in a lot closer? They're more of long range weapons now. They've also added 2 frames to the aim down sight, so it's going to be a little bit slower. And also snapshot is now a little bit slower as well, and not as effective. And then a slight buff in terms of all snipers are going to be a little bit more stable. Now into some specific weapons, we have the exotics. The Mida Multi-Tool, which was by far the most popular weapon in Destiny, as you can see by this graph here. Now this was actually been slightly nerfed, and they realized how popular it was, but it wasn't a massive nerf. They basically just reduced how much the bullets make your screen flinch, which was quite drastic. They basically reduced that now. I know the Mida was the most popularly used weapon by far, but I don't think that's because it's OP, and I don't think that means it's overly powerful. I simply think that means it's because it's a very good weapon to use, and a lot of people feel comfortable using it. So I'm glad they didn't nerf it too badly, and it's now just going to make you flinch a little less when you're getting hit by it. The Ceros Regime exotic auto rifle, now spinning up, will kick into action a little bit slower, and the Focus Fire version has better range and accuracy. The Hawk Moon, one of my personal favorites, this now has more range and accuracy, which definitely makes me happy. It's without a doubt one of my favorite weapons to use, so I hope it's actually noticeable and it's a lot better now. The Last Word has actually been nerfed a little bit. It's got less general damage. You used to be able to 2-shot people to the head if you're really good with it, and now it does a minimum of 3 shots to the head. The Thorn now does less damage over time, and the burning effect doesn't last as long, and also the green stuff has been reduced a little bit, so you don't feel just as bogged down when you've got the green stuff on your screen. It used to be able to 3-shot you to the body with the burn effect, and 3 shots to the head, I believe, as well. But now it's going to be a minimum 4 shots to the body, and I think 3 shots to the head as well. The Icebreaker, now you cannot get ammo for other weapons. The Icebreaker glitch has now been fixed, which I'm really happy about, so you won't be able to get ammo for it by using it and switching to other weapons, and also zooms in a little bit further and handles a little bit slower. The Drek's Promise will now track a little bit better when you aim down sight, so it almost tracks a little bit and seeks like a rocket launcher, they said, which should be interesting to see how that thing works. And the final exotic that's been tuned is the Telesto, and now its explosions that stick to things have been fixed a little bit. You can now stick it to teammates and have them run into enemies and it will do damage, so a pretty interesting change right there. The 1000 Yard now has less inventory ammo. The Quillam's Terminus will now have less ammo when you pick up heavy ammo in the Crucible. All the King's Fall weapons will now reload a little bit quicker, and the Anguish of Dristan King's Fall weapon, that now has better stability, which is definitely needed. And now we're going to look at how the Warlock subclasses were changed. Firstly, looking at the Sunsinger, the Flame Shield has actually got its frequency reduced. The Fireborn, so when you self-res from death, that now lasts a little bit shorter, and you can now throw a lot more grenades. So a little bit of a tweak, but not much change overall, just a little bit different. And it should be interesting to see how the subclass works. It's probably one of the most powerful and one of the most talked about. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. The Stormcaller, now landfall doesn't stun enemies or destroy bubbles, a little bit less powerful, and Transcendence lasts a lot shorter, which I think is a fair nerf. It was definitely quite powerful. It's like getting a Fist of Havoc and then going to do even more damage. So that's been tuned a little bit. And then finally, the Voidwalker has got quite a buff. The Energy Drain and Soul Rip abilities are now a lot better, and the melee is a bit faster as well. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. That was a lot of information to throw at you. Hope you did enjoy it. Drop a like rating if you did. Comment down below your thoughts of the changes, and I'll see you guys in the next video.